Good evening to everyone tuning in. This is Late Night IMBA Discussions featuring myself, DUCKVILLE. We also have a couple of other random League of Legends guys who are going to join us today. We'll get to them in just a second. Of course, today I didn't really have a topic that we were going to look at, so and no one suggested one because it's Friday, everyone's lazy today. So what we're going to do is we're just going to grab some random replays from the TSL Korean Qualifiers round number 4 or 3, I think, round of 16. So there's a lot of good players in here. Of course, there will be spoilers. There will be all sorts of things. If you want to have a look at the replays yourself, you can jump over to the link that is in the chat or in the YouTube description. Yeah, so you can have a look at those yourself there, but we're going to look at my particular replay is going to be a PvP, and neither of you guys pick a PvP, unless you really want to, but don't pick First versus Lure, Game 2.
Well, if it's the top end of a tournament, then it's probably going to have to be a PvP.
Is that because all the Protoss players are awesome? Is that what you said?
Yeah, that must be it.
Yeah, they're pretty awesome. And these two other clowns are going to pick their own replay as we go. We'll just have to do it Bill O'Reilly style and do it live. So whatever. Of course, yeah, I'm back from Brisbane. It was a really cool trip last week, which is why we didn't have the show on last week. Went up to a tournament up there hosted by Vroom Vroom Vroom. It was a little car hire company place. It was really fun. Played some games with the local guys there, did some casting, and yeah, it was really cool. It was a really cool experience. Yeah, let's jump into this, because of course we are running a tiny bit late. We'll go introduce these other people who play LoL and a little bit of StarCraft 2, it seems. We've got Wiggn. He's, of course, sorry, just to anyone who's new to the show, if you haven't seen the show before, at the moment, you're only going to see me. The other two are going to be just the voice of God, because, of course, this being a show that isn't full of crap and people abusing each other and, players coming onto the show to just be abused and then getting thrown off the show. This is actually
What do you mean?
just...
That's exactly why Galen's here.
This is just about StarCraft, just about watching replays, looking at the strategies and that sort of thing. So, for the moment, that's why you can only see me. I am hoping to get in contact with Hanzo, who's a guy you may have seen on Reddit who makes some really, really, really awesome overlays. Hoping to get him to help out with making look, I'm gonna put some money out there for him, because obviously it's a hard job. Well, it is for me, because I'm shit at Photoshop, but we'll get some overlays going, and then you will be able to see these guys after the games. We'll watch the games, and then have a chat between us, and it'll look a lot nicer. So once we get that going, things will be...
Just put us on top of, like, unit portraits and stuff.
Well, there's no room, and I figure it sort of really crowds things up if you've got, like, 4 screens you need to, like, look at. I don't know. And also, I have no idea how to get that multiple video thing working with Skype, so... Oh well, we'll get to that. I'll talk to Clutch about it. Anyway, so we've got Wiggn. He's here. He's our Terran Protoss guy. How you doing?
I'm doing alright. And for the record here, I play plenty of StarCraft, alright? Been being a ladder warrior on the Korean ladder.
Right.
Since I got...
Yeah, you got the client all going. So how did you tell us how you went with your initial games on the Korean ladder?
Well, I went 5-0 in placements, because, I don't know, it's just placements. And it put me directly into Plat, which I think is as high as you can place.
It is.
And, like,
the same thing. Did you get
3 or 4
against,
games,
like, bronze people constantly?
In Plat, or...?
No, in your placements, because when I did my placements, mostly... I was placed against 3 bronze people, 2 of which cheesed me, and then 2 silver people. I was like, I just beat these 3 bronze people. What do you want me to do? Jesus. And then I got placed in Plat.
No, mine was 1 silver, 2 gold, a Plat, and a Masters, I think is what I got. And yeah, and then like 3 games later I got promoted to Diamond or something like that.
Nice.
And that's where I am at right now. but I should be in Masters pretty soon because I play against mostly low Masters players right now for my MMR. So it's a lot of fun. It's definitely much better practice and much more challenging than the NA server. Like I can just not play for months and then get Masters on NA, but you actually have to play a decent game to win on the Korean server. So I'm really enjoying it a lot.
Yep. Fair enough. Any differences in the way you have to play? Because I'm assuming you're playing your Terran on there. Is there any differences in the way you play Terran on the Korean server compared to NA?
I just cheese Protoss. I don't even try to play macro games unless I mech, because it's a little too laggy to dodge storms consistently.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
And every once in a while I try to play a macro game, but other than that, you just have to play really safe because the green players do not hesitate to all-in you, and they have really strong all-ins. Because they're even the platinum Korean players have like high masters, low GM quality all-ins because for the first 8 minutes they might as well be playing perfect. Like they practice enough and are mechanically sound enough to have really strong all-ins.
No,
so,
I noticed that too. Yeah, no, I noticed that quite a lot. Is that when I initially went on the Korean server, it was kind of like, oh shit, I'm gonna get like proxy gated and 6 pulled and you know like 7 racks inside my base cheesed every single game. But it's actually not. It's like I've rarely been. I was rarely cheesed to that degree, like that super fast or super ridiculously risky things. It was all these one base things that would just come at a certain time. They'll just cut production at some point, and then just come with 7,000 units, and I'll just be like, okay, wasn't really ready for that. And that was the thing that really caught me out. But at the moment I'm playing on NA. But yeah, so alright, well cool. Obviously we'll have to check in with how you go next week. We've also got Omerta, our Protoss / Zerg player, who's a custom warrior at the moment, from what I've seen.
Yeah. What's up, buddy?
Basically forever a custom warrior.
Yeah.
How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Doing good.
Any interesting things popping up in your world of StarCraft at the moment, or anything? Any interesting styles you've been trying? I think you sticking with Protoss?
Well, he hasn't officially switched to Zerg yet for some reason.
That's right.
No, I still basically split my time between Protoss and Zerg. A, because I like playing both races, and B, because I hate the mirror matchups of both races, so I just kind of switch back and forth between ZBT and ZVP. No real new styles. I'm kind of working with some Ling Baneling kind of stuff in ZVP a little bit, like testing the waters there, but I'm having a lot of trouble with it. Like, it's just so hard to hold early sentry base pressure, like off 2 bases with Zerglings. So I don't know. I'm not sure I like it so much.
Fair enough.
And then PvZ, I'm still really ironing out my super fast third base, which I think people will start doing soon. I think it's not going to be too long before pro players start experimenting with that and making it part of their standard play.
Yep. Fair enough. Alright, well, speaking of which, we'll get straight into it, of course, because we want to see some games. Can you guys jump into Game 2 of Lure versus First? It's on Daybreak.
Sure.
Which one was that? Sorry?
First versus Lure, Game 2.
Versus Lure. Lure was playing tonight in something, wasn't he? Was he in TSL tonight? Was he the one that Hack mech'd on?
Yes, he was.
I think yes.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm picking a Hack game just as a nod to him being a man and going mech against Protoss.
If we can find one. I didn't think I saw any.
Yep, he plays. I already forgot who he plays against, but there's 2 Hack games.
Oh, okay.
I think it was King Kong or something.
Oh, okay.
Something.
Alright, well, let's get started, you guys.
Wish I had those reps.
At 0.
Game.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Cool. Alright, let's go. 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, Daybreak, of course, is the map, and the yellow is our...
Cloud Kingdom.
What?
Or did I pick the wrong one? Did I pick the wrong one?
Daybreak.
Game 2.
Fuck, I picked the
Game
wrong
2,
one,
buddy.
God damn it.
Oh, I suppose.
This guy
I
right
suppose
here.
just to add some context and a spoiler. This particular episode of the show is going to be filled with spoilers. So if you're going to try and watch all the replays yourself and note all of them down, too bad because I'm going to spoil it.
Okay, I'm ready. Sorry about that.
Lure won game number 1. We'll get to it in just a second. 3, 2, 1, go.
If only we could just get into the same game and do this.
I know, it's insane. If only we had some sort of technology that was around 12 years ago, but not now. So at the top right in the yellow of Daybreak is MVP's Lure, and his opponent in the bottom left is I Am First. First, I think I've seen his name once or twice, but not very often. Obviously, one of the lower ranked players. He's behind my boy Seed. But yeah, game 1 first went for a Phoenix-based opening, and I don't know if it sounds on. Went for a Phoenix-based opening, did a little bit of a contain, took his own natural, but then tried to take his third a little bit quicker than he probably should have. So Lure just came in with like LOL Colossus and all that sort of stuff, and just stomped all over him. So we'll have to see what happens in this one. PvP. I'll tell you my secret to PvP on this map. You guys ready? Cannons.
Sure.
I just cannon on this map.
Why not?
and then if there is a certain Slinks in the chat watching the show, he would have seen my game yesterday where I did a cannon rush that failed because the guy spotted it, and then went into carriers after that. So that was fun.
That sounds nifty.
It is, man. It's cool. But yeah, a really cool map. Given how big this map is, you still don't always see ridiculous macro games, but there have been the occasional one with, I believe there was one in something with a double, like the first sort of time we saw double motherships, like, or a mothership each from both players. I'm assuming it was Sase and someone. But yeah, so you do sometimes see macro games with a nice natural, the third that can be easy to take, and the other base in the middle here with the rich Vespene Geyser, which can really help. Who's like eating their microphone?
Oh, it's probably me. My mic is still broken.
Oh, okay.
It's just like hanging around my neck. Sorry about that. Just yell at me if it's annoying.
It's all good. So, Omerta, you've probably played a little bit more PvP on this one. What do you think?
I hate this matchup. Oh, I mean, I just hate this matchup in general. I'm gonna get mad. This map for PvP is good. I mean, PvP is just such a volatile matchup because of Warp Gate, and you know, you can say that every matchup is volatile against Protoss because of Warp Gate, but PvP especially, since you're making the exact same units, like if you're ever at a disadvantage in units and he's warping into your base, then you just like lose the game.
Yep.
And you can't really make static defenses in PvP like you can with other races to help deal with early pressure, so it's really volatile in that sense. But in this map, if nobody dies early pressure, then you're gonna see probably a 3-base versus 3-base kind of game, because it's really hard to walk all the way across the map and try and kill somebody. So I'm expecting that both of these players will get up to 3 bases if they don't just kill each other right away.
Fair enough. Looks like First is going to open up with a slightly delayed 3-stalker rush. He's got one out on the map already, but what he did go for pretty quickly here was a Twilight Council, so that's just about to complete, and no doubt we'll see him get the blink tech as soon as he can, but it feels weird. Oh. DTs maybe? Yes, okay.
Yeah, off of 2 gates it's usually going to be DTs. You usually see a 3rd gate for stalkers. Yeah.
And he sort of cut pro production for just a minute there, like he's just one behind at the moment, but and he does have a proxy pylon in the middle, and looks like we're going to get another one down to the side. So DTs have made a little bit of a resurgence, and I don't mean like as in, you know, all the people in bronze are now in masters. This is actually something which we've seen people like Oz and I think JYP may have used them in one of his games. I can't remember just recently, but especially this map, we've seen players use it quite a lot. And if you want a really cool example of how you can use DTs, which I'd never thought of, have a look. There's a game on my channel between Scar and Oz, and he did this really cool thing with you warp in 3 DTs, and then if your opponent spots the Dark Shrine and puts a force field down to block out the DTs, just warp an Archon, morph an Archon, and just bust up the ramp and just start killing stuff. It was the most hilarious thing to watch. But yeah, so it's sort of it's a map which seemingly gained a little bit of a DT following. So Wiggn, is there any particular reason you think that there have been a couple more DT games on this map at all, or is it just a random thing?
I think it's just kind of random what people are doing involving DTs. I mean, it does give you a lot of options, and it forces your opponent to play a certain way. But I mean, if you look at a game like this is kind of why you don't go DT every game, because Lure's in like a really strong position. The way First did it was kind of neat. Like with the early Stalker pressure, like it could punish some builds from Lure, and if like somehow those Stalkers got up into the base and that pylon went down, then the game could just end right there because you have Stalkers and you're warping DTs directly in there. Right. So it's well timed, but Lure did a really good job of, I don't know if you saw right at the beginning, hunting down that scouting probe to make sure there were no pylons really early out on the map to slow down that Stalker push a little bit. And now, you know, he has his Robotech up, he has OBS, like there's no way DTs are doing damage right now. He can very safely expand, and now he sort of is at the point where he can dictate how the rest of this match goes. So I'm really interested in seeing like where exactly he wants to go with it, if he wants to do like something with a lot of Immortals and maybe Blink, or if he wants to go for Colossus. I think 2-base Colossus could be really good here. Because just the amount of money that First has invested in that DT tech has not paid off at all, so he's just sort of behind, because I mean it's already reflected in the supply.
Yeah, that's true. Like we've got Lure up at 72 supply at the moment. He's just on 12 above First, who's on 60, just finishing up his 3rd and 4th gas at his natural. Lure is only just taking his gas now, so he will have. Interestingly, First actually has the worker lead, which is a little bit odd, but I suppose he did have his Nexus slightly earlier, which attributes to that. So at the moment, I think as who was it? I think it was Day 9 in one of the recent Day 9 dailies pointed out, there are these sort of phases in PvP where you'll go to the early phase, which is, you know, your proxy gates, your super fast Stalker Rush or something like that, and of course cannons. And then once that's done, then you got to look for your 4 gates, your various sort of 3-gate styles, and that sort of thing. Hunting down this observer here, very cool from Lure. And then you move to that mid game where you've got your Robo, you've got your protection against the basic sort of gateway forces, and you have to deal with Blink Stalkers and possible Immortal stuff. And then you move to Colossus, and it all gets haywire from there and becomes, you know, War of the Worlds with Tom Cruise. So there are the various stages, and obviously we're sort of up to that, we're sort of at that 3rd stage where the Immortals are up here and the Blink Stalkers are out as well, so Lure should be fine. And I mean, this isn't the greatest map for Blink Stalkers because there's only a
snipe that sentry.
Tiny bit of room. Yeah, there's only a tiny bit of room for Blink Stalkers to actually get inside the main, so it's not exactly the most solid sort of strap on this map, so we'll have to see what First is going to do. It looks as if he is going just to head straight up to Colossus and get a couple of upgrades going as well. So
yeah, I really feel like First's build would be much better suited for another map, a map with a much more accessible main in natural for Blink Stalkers, or just a wider map in general. Because the thing about Daybreak is, in order to attack, most of your engagements are going to occur in very narrow corridors, and that's when Robo play and sort of not doing any shenanigans and just kind of playing defensive until you gain that advantage the way Lure is right now is going to be very strong. So I really like. I think Lure came into this match and this map specifically with a much better idea of what exactly he wanted to do.
Yeah.
Sorry, go on.
Oh, go ahead, Doug. Nope, go ahead.
I was just going to say double robos out for both players. Do you reckon that's slightly early? I mean, we're only sort of at the 12... Basically, it was the 12-minute mark when those were both done. Do you reckon that's a little bit early?
No, the Colossus count is so important in this matchup. Like, if you can get a 2 or 3 Colossus lead, like, you're at such a huge advantage. Like, it basically gives you complete control of the game. Like, you can expand and he can't really attack into you, or you can try to attack. I mean, it's just such a huge deal. Like, Colossus count first and then forge upgrades, which lore has 2 forges, and I think I only see 1 from first.
Yep.
Yeah, so right now lore's kind of taking a little bit of a risk by getting that double forge, because it could mean he could fall behind in Colossus count or stalkers. It looks like to do that he's just completely cutting stalkers out of the mix, which is okay too, I guess. He's spending his gas that way. But yeah, Colossus count just so important. You want to get double robo as fast as you can.
Yeah, I think he feels comfortable going with the double forge in this situation because he had that early immortal count lead. So he should know he's much safer and is able to actually cut stalkers.
Yep.
And I guess for all you out there that are watching that aren't Protoss players or are Terran players like me, you can sort of think of the robo count and the Colossus count the same way you think of air control in TVT, in that you don't really need it unless the other person's getting it, and then you have to make sure you have as much or more than him, or you just like lose the game. So that's why you see something sort of, it would seem sort of strange on the outside, like very quickly going to those 2 robos that you can't really support perfectly on 2 bases, and both at the same time as well.
Yeah. We'll actually see a slight side effect of it as well here. He does have they're actually even on the Colossus count, but first is slightly behind on the Immortals, just 1. But here we can see that the double robo is actually stopped for the moment because Lure has had to spend a little bit more on getting those extra upgrades. So while he will have the slightly nicer upgrade count at the moment, he's sitting on 101 and first is on 001. He will have to sort of he's slowed down the production just a tiny bit. As we can see, the Colossus have restarted now though. So and as we saw just up at the top of the map, just a little bit of pressure from first with the Immortal in the Prism, just trying to run around here. He does have speed on the Prism already, so he's able to float around quite quickly, and but hasn't really been able to get any damage done. So we are sort of moving to that stage. It really pops up when you have double robo that that it becomes a point where you can't really actually do too much against each other. It's like a game of chicken. Whoever can try and, whoever attacks first could be behind or they could be in front. It's like a really weird situation. But as we can see, first getting some pressure done here inside the main base. He took down a couple of pylons. I think he's now taking down some cannons as well, getting a few probes and doing some really nice immortal control here. And there was a DT somewhere around. Did he get the... No, he didn't get the Colossus, but still getting some pressure in here, and that's just, distracting Lure just a tiny bit, but I don't think... Is he actually going to get the Twilight Council? Where is the observer? There it is. Saves the Twilight Council just in time.
I would have really liked him to try to focus one of those forges down first.
Yeah,
because if he does get one of those forges, then he can sort of make up for that difference in the upgrade count, and that's going to be... Like, they're both just about maxed. That's going to be the difference in this fight that'll occur in not too long, once they're both fully maxed.
And definitely the big thing to consider in PvP is that upgrades, they make such a huge difference later on, because you get to a stage where you're using Colossus, you're using Archons as well, and hang on, we'll just have a look at this battle here. We've actually got Lure trying to push across, but a couple of the Colossi down the bottom actually got stuck on the cliff because of the pylon. So he's lost a couple of the Colossi here, and he's now actually down in the count by 3. But back inside the main base, we can see that first is getting his own damage done, trying to take care of the cannons as well. He will have to prepare for perhaps a counter-attack at his main base, which we'll flick back to in just a second. So the pressure inside the main ceases for the moment, but yeah, so the Colossus count is actually just in favor of Lure at the moment. So you've destroyed your opponents, you've destroyed a couple of your opponent's Colossi. Is this the time when you want to just really just go in and just say, let's do it, or do you want to? Are you going to sit back and just actually cement that lead with continuing the production, Omerta?
I think he should take a fourth base and scout for a fourth base from first, and just kind of play the war of attrition. Just keep denying his fourth with your better army. Like, his army is much better now, so just keep denying your fourth with that while getting your own fourth. Or you can just go and right-click on a Nexus, but oh, you have to be really careful in these fights. Like, if you, engagements where you have this many Colossi are so volatile, man. If you're out of position for a second, like, one set of Colossus volleys in one person's favor can just completely change the fight.
And as we saw there, there was actually a really good position. I'm kind of surprised that Lure didn't attack into it. It's one huge thing to consider in PvP is when you get to these massive War of the Worlds battles with the Colossus. If your opponent's really clumped up like this, it's definitely worth taking a shot, because we saw that First was really clumped up in this spot here, and because of the splash damage of the Colossus, if you can get a shot off, like you said, if there's a really good swipe of the Thermal Lance and you can hit a bunch of your opponent's Colossus, then you can actually do quite a lot of damage and perhaps even take a lead or even a win off just a simple engagement error on the part of your opponent. But as you said, he did take a fourth base down here at the ridge base. However, his opponent also had his own fourth up, to which he hasn't actually noticed yet from what I can see. Yeah. No, he doesn't know that it's there just yet.
Yeah, and this is one tip for players out there. If you ever feel like you're at an advantage in the game, or know for a fact that you're at an advantage, always scout for expansions. Like, always scout for hidden expansions. Just send one unit or a worker or something and send it all around the map and look for expansions, because people getting an expansion up that you don't know about can, you know, cause you to lose your lead pretty quickly.
Yeah. And I mean, this is also really prevalent in PvT as well, because if your opponent gets a hidden orbital up, let's say you're on Shakuris and they get one at the 12 o'clock or the 6 o'clock position, and you don't know about it, that's either an extra scan or an extra mule or something like that, which can have an effect on the game. But here we go, looks like we've got another battle. I'm not sure. This is a really, really good spread from First, but unfortunately, because of the position of the Nexus here, he sort of channels himself in, and it looks like he's still going to take a heap of damage here. The Colossus count is up for Lure, so he's slightly ahead at the moment, and Probes are going to get absolutely obliterated here, and the Colossus do as well, and I think that's going to be the end of First.
Yeah. The upgrades here are just out of control for Lure too. He's got 2 armor upgrades and a shield upgrade ahead, and so
yeah,
it's so hard to come back from that.
Way in front with that, and obviously with his ability to just stream in Immortals from the proxy pylon, stream in Zealots from the proxy pylon that he had, puts him in a really good spot. So really cool game there. Obviously with that's the standard way of playing your PvPs, with a bit of Colossus action. What we'll do is we'll go into another game. It is 1/2 cool. Who wants to go next?
I don't even
sure.
know what game. What game did you choose, Dave?
I picked one of the King Kong vs. Hack games, and I guess I'll pick the shorter. I was gonna do Cloud Kingdom. It's a 23-minute, but let's do the shorter one, the 12-minute one.
Daybreak?
And we'll probably see some sweet all-in occur.
Alright.
But screw it, let's do it.
So we're going back to Daybreak.
Daybreak is it's a good map. I like Daybreak a lot. It's one of the few examples of destructible rocks done right, in my opinion, with the middle debris. Because it's a tactical decision, not just an annoying thing you have to get out of your way in order to function in a game.
I would really love to know if whoever made this one, I can't remember who it was, got, like, if there was some sort of spark of the idea came from Monty Hall, the Brood War map, which is a little bit like this with the 3 pathways and sort of destructible an area of like a barrier that you can take down. Of course, in Brood War it was a mineral wall, but in this it's Dust and Browder's pet rocks. So let's get started. It's we're at 0. You good?
Yep, I'm good.
You good? Cool. 3, 2, 1, go.
Alright.
Top
Did
right.
not know King Kong was a Zerg.
Top right,
Yeah.
we've got Startail's Hack in the red, And in the bottom left, if my mouse is going to work, oh, cool, I got this. I've had these really weird bugs lately where weird stuff happens, like I can't actually click on my minimap right now. Oh, that sucks. Sorry guys, I hate doing that movement. Down the bottom left in the blue as the Zerg player is StarTale's King Kong. Have you guys heard of King Kong before?
Yeah, I saw him
never
playing
seen him
the
play.
Team League.
Okay.
Saw him playing the Team League kind of recently. Yeah, and he got completely destroyed by somebody. I forget who it was. Like he played really bad. Like either he was nervous or I don't know what, man. But like his macro was just completely off and just played really poorly.
Fair enough.
Well, he must have been doing good to get here in the TSL, because there's a lot of really good players that haven't gotten as far as he has.
Yeah, we had quite a few of the Dream Team gaming guys trying out, and we had a couple of good wins. Like we had Scar versus Oz, and that was a really good set.
Oh boy!
Oh dear!
Just what's occurring in the center of the map.
Oh yeah!
A 12th SCV has not been produced.
Oh god, hack, crazy kid. But yeah, so there is so much talent. Like I know Artosis and especially Artosis, but Artosis and Tasteless will always say it. There are so many good players in Korea that just don't get a chance because there are so many good players. You never get to see them, and there's a ridiculous amount of them. Like I linked before the TSL page on Team Liquid. Make sure you jump on there and have a look. There are just so many good players, but yeah, so we'll have a look at what King Kong is going to do about this one. He gets into the base of Hack, has a look around, no racks at the moment. Of course, this doesn't actually mean that there's something proxy yet, because the problem with dealing with a Terran who does something like this is it could be anywhere. He could be doing a Macca racks down at his natural, or making.
He could also be doing CC first, which is starting to get very popular in this matchup.
Yeah, I was going to say that's probably one of the bigger things that which I really like. That has started to get a little bit popular. But here we go, so he's brought down quite a lot of drones down to the natural to stop this bunker from completing. There are 2 SCVs here, so he's going to need to try and take one of them out if he can, but he cancels the bunker, going to try a second time. I don't know if that was the best idea to put the half-dead SCV on, but he's targeted the SCV down. He should be able to kill that, or will he? No, he won't. But the Marines getting surrounded, sort of. Are they going to survive? Ooh. You should know that it's a double proxy racks by now, right, Wiggn?
Yeah, he should definitely know.
Oh,
as
yeah.
soon as you see the next 2 Marines show up at the same time, that should just immediately tell you it's a proxy 1111 racks.
Yep.
Ooh, when you let that bunker go down, that's
Wow.
really bad for Kong.
Bunker gets up.
It's
the
not-
SCV had 1 HP left. It's trying.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
And there was a moment where he just wasn't microing against it too. He could have had it. No, it's not. The game's not over if a bunker goes down, but it's definitely going to hurt the Zerg a lot. And he made the right decision. If you saw, he immediately went for where the reinforcements would come from, blocked that off, and then went ahead and like stopped it as soon as you can. Because the thing about like these proxy racks attacks are you want to sort of stem the flow as soon as you can, without putting yourself completely out of the game.
Yeah.
But he lost a lot of drones really early on trying to micro against Marines before the bunker went down, and then lost even more once the bunker had already gone down. So he's in a little bit of a rough situation right here. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I don't know if he even has a response for these next 6 Marines.
It's 11 to 16, and of course Hack also has his orbital command, and now the Marines are just going to waltz inside the natural expansion here. There's only a couple of links to defend, 6 more are about to pop out, but drones are going down all over the place. And that was, I don't know, a weird decision to send those lings around. Like, he almost sent them across to Hack space. Is that, do you reckon, Omerta, that's like the greatest idea when you're under this sort of
well,
it's not
what he
bad
was-
if you are sure the rush is over. Like, if those racks have already lifted,
Yeah.
then that's an okay decision, because you can maybe catch him off guard and get into his base and start returning some damage. Especially if you've forced him to pull a lot of SCVs with the attack, though unfortunately he didn't.
Yep.
But if those racks are still on the ground and producing, then there's no way you want to do that. You want to make sure that is done for before you make any other decision.
Yeah. And it looks like he is going to try and come back across, but the supply depot wall is up. 3 Marines are behind. There was a supply drop on this little supply depot there. So he must have. I remember. I don't know if you guys remember. TLO used to do a build where you actually utilize the supply call, the call down. What the fuck is it called? Call down extra supplies, whatever it is. I don't really care. No one uses it.
Supply drop.
Yeah, let's call it supply drop. That's what everyone calls it. He used to do a build where it was like a command center off 1 racks with the supply depot drop because it's obviously saved the 100 minerals. Do you guys remember that one?
Yeah, I do. Supply drop is actually better short term than mules, obviously. It's just like you get a burst of 100 minerals instead of, how many do mules bring back? Like 300?
250 or 260?
270.
Like yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you want to get something really specific like a command center or the 3 barracks all in that Terrans do against Protoss, you use the supply drop so you can afford that 3rd barracks just for a little bit. It's definitely better short term than mule, so if you want to squeeze something out, use that.
Yeah, I like the way Hack has been playing this out so far. He's being very, very safe. Now he could have been a little bit more ahead than he was. Like that supply drop sort of indicative that he wasn't really macroing well behind this. But he built the command center in his base. He put a wall up. He even got that third rack's actually before the CC, and he's spreading Marines in his base because what he's worried about is since King Kong built so many lings, he's really worried about like a Baneling bust or something like that, and that can be really dangerous if you do a like a 2-axe and then it doesn't kill the guy. Like you can actually just get counter all end off like Zerg 2 with like a strong Zerg 2 base and be a little bit worried.
Is he patrolling the sides here with these Marines to stop a possible Nidus worm, or is that just him being vigilant on stopping the Overlords?
Overlords.
Just for that?
For sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can't really Nidus when you've lost that many drones, I suppose.
Nope.
Yeah, Nidus is pretty hard to pull off against Terran because unlike Protoss, like you're not expanding with like static defense or anything like that. You have units out the whole time because you want to be aggressive. It's really hard to sneak something like that down.
Alright, well, King Kong has attempted to drone up behind all of this. He's up to 32 at the moment. Of course, about to bring out another 6 because Zerg is a pretty hard race to play when it comes to making workers. He's got 2 queens down at the natural. Spine Crawler's just about to, halfway done. There are now 3 queens. He's just a little bit worried about those Hellions coming across, and they are going to get there eventually, but Hack's going to get spotted on his way down. So I'm thinking that, yeah, there's like part of the wall. That's a really sexy wall from
with
King
3
Kong.
queens out, the Hellions aren't really going to do much.
Yeah.
But what they are going to do is they're going to help set up this Banshee with Marines follow-up. That's going to occur, and that'll probably be a kill move for Hack. Like this is it's very similar to a build you do after a CC first, where you go for Reactor Hellions and then Banshees to cancel like a quick third. But it's because he did the proxy racks, it's about 2.5, 3 minutes later than it would be in the game. But he did so much damage that King Kong's been forced to just build drones and only now getting his lair and has very little tech in general. He's just not really going to have anything to deal with this stuff. Oh, and then he just GG's as soon as he sees Cloak.
Yeah. Not even going to bother.
Not even going to try.
The DTs
too
of
bad
the
he didn't
sky
try
have arrived.
Yeah, it's too bad he didn't like put an effort out there to try to survive through that because like he's ahead in workers right now. Only by 1, but he is ahead. Like that. I don't know. It would have been interesting to see him really try to come back from that, but oh well. I mean, he was behind the whole time, and then Cloak rolls in. Guess it's time to just leave.
Yeah. Just before we end this one, Omerta, you've obviously played some ZVT, and I would assume that you've had your share of troubles with bunkers like this at the start.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you just can't let it finish. I mean, honestly, what I do, and I didn't actually notice I wasn't paying attention. I just completely skipped my queens and start a spine crawler and zerglings. You don't need the queens right away against a rush like this. You can kind of delay them and start them later. Like if you get a spine up in time and stop the bunker from going up, then even that marine counterattack can't do any damage really.
Yep.
So that's how I deal with it personally. It's always worked.
What I'm sure, well, I'm wondering because it's just interesting to know. Is there a point where, let's just say, so it's at the 4-minute mark where he's lost quite a lot of drones. He then, at around about the 5-minute mark, finally pushes back the attack and gets rid of the bunker. Then has to face off against the marine attack again. So we're at like about 6 minutes now. Is there a point there where is there a point at, let's say, 8 minutes based on the limited scouting you'll get, because of course because Hack's done a really good job with the overlords, but is there a point where you just have to say, all right, I'm at 50 drones, for example, I really need to stop now, make units, make spores and that sort of thing, or is it just you have to rely on the scouting to find that?
I mean, there's definitely a point when you can do it, but that game was just... You can throw out a lot of what King Kong did in that game because he was just so far behind. I think if I was in his shoes, I would have played that completely differently. Like, in all honesty, that game was kind of over when he pulled, like, 8 drones to chase around the Marines and lost a bunch of the drones, didn't stop the bunker from going down. If you're going to pull that many drones, you have to stop the bunker. That has to be the biggest priority. Otherwise, you just wait for the bunker to get up. Make sure you have a spine crawler, and just trade hatchery health until you have a spine crawler up, and then just break the bunker with a spine crawler and lings. Yep. But if you lose that many workers doing it, that's when you're doing it wrong. Because it really isn't the end of the world if the bunker gets up, but you have to. It is the end of the world if the bunker gets up and you lose a bunch of drones at the same time.
Yeah. All right.
And then honestly, if you're that behind and you've built that many lings, I just try to all in. I would just Baneling bust.
Yeah.
Even if Hack's prepared for it, because realistically the game's pretty much over.
Is there a Banshee timing, Omerta? Like when did he come in? He came in at about 12 minutes or something. Should you have the spine crawlers up by then, or is that just bad luck because he was quite far behind?
That's very late for Banshee timing. So
yeah,
I guess you can assume it's going to be pretty late because of the 2 racks. And I don't know if he ever even scouted that Banshees were coming. It would have been difficult for him to scout that Banshees were coming at that point. But I mean, he could have lived through it. He didn't have to leave the game right there. Like he had Evos up and he had Queens, so he could have survived without taking.
No, dude, no way. He was gonna lose like 20 drones.
Yeah, he had no lair, and they would have had cloak for a little bit longer as well. So it either would have been lose the queens to the cloak.
He had like 3 or 4 queens, and his Evo was already up. If he puts a spore at his natural and pulls all his drones there, he loses like 6 drones. I mean, it sucks because he's already behind, but I'm just saying, like, if Banshee's flying to your base and you don't have any detection yet, like, you're not going to lose the game right there. So it's not the end of the world. Like, you don't have to blind counter Banshees, is what I'm saying.
All right.
If you're in a normal game. I mean, in that situation, he's like fucked anyway because, excuse my language.
Yeah.
Because he was just so behind at the beginning. But if you're in a game and it's a normal game and Cloaked Banshees find your base at like 8.5 minutes, and you didn't scout them, so you didn't build spores ahead of time, you're not dead. You don't have to leave the game. You can minimize the losses. Even trading a couple queens so you don't lose drones is not the worst thing in the world as long as you have a bunch of them to get a spore up. And once the spore's up, like, you're in pretty good shape.
Okay. Omerta, you've got a game?
Yeah, it's the one I originally chose was 27 minutes. Do you guys want to do that one, or should I pick a shorter one?
It's fine with me.
Alright, let's do it.
Duck show, man.
Yeah, it's fine with me. Is it fine with the audience? We got 4 people in the chat at the moment. Let's just see if it's fine with them. We got one more game. It'll probably go for 27. It'll go for about 19 minutes of real time. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
Who is it?
Yeah.
It's Puzzle versus Whale on Entombed.
Ooh, yes, yes, yes. I was gonna say, I really hope you picked that one. Alright.
Yeah.
Alright, Trumpet says let's do it. Oh, he said, lol, sure.
Let's do it.
Now
If
he
anybody
says
says
do it.
yes, it's just
Alright, cool. Let's load it up. You guys good?
Good to go.
yeah.
Right, 3, 2, 1, and go.
All right. I
Alright.
hate this map.
I love
it's
this
a good
map.
map. It's a good map because like you get a third base and then you can make carriers. So anyway,
Yeah.
top right we've got our Slayer's player. It is Puzzle, pretty good player. I find it really funny that his name's Puzzle and he plays Protoss because the Protoss icon looks like a puzzle piece. And his opponent in the bottom left, in the blue, is FXO's Whale. I've done a couple of casts of Whale. There are a few on my channel that were replays sent through to me by my good buddy, One Star, who's a Korean Masters Terran, who has some fantastic replays that he sends through and does ridiculous things with doors. Obviously, a shout out to One Star. But yeah, he's a decent Zerg player, and I'm sure we'll probably see. I think we may have already seen him in some of the team leagues already.
I don't remember. I recognize his name because every time I watch someone streaming like really high MMR Korean ladder, they just always play against Whale.
Yeah.
He is like
I've seen him in
a
team
high
league a bunch of
GM
times.
Yeah.
warrior.
Alright, so in Tomb Valley, Wiggn, thoughts on this for Protoss?
Well, I mean, it's I like it for Protoss. It's well, I don't know. I like it because you can fairly safely forward expand and your third is accessible, and you can easily block off that whichever ramp you want, really, to make it pretty easy to defend run-bys. So I like it for that. I wouldn't like it if I wanted to move out aggressively on the map, because it's so wide it should be pretty easy for a Zerg player to flank you.
Yep.
And your force fields are going to be significantly less useful in the open, because it's just so open in the middle. So if I were an aspiring Protoss player, and I knew I had to play on this map, I would probably favor a heavily defensive macro game, because I do not want to really move out on the map on this map.
Yeah, I actually open. I do what everyone hates to do. I actually open one base on this map with I've beaten, because obviously I'm high diamond, and I've recently started playing against Masters players quite a bit, and it seemingly freaks people out when you play as a Protoss and open up one base on this map, especially when you play it the way that I do, without walling at the main base ramp, because you know what Zerg sort of goes for an early pool on this map. But no, I totally agree. It's a standard way of playing this. You really want to set up this Forge Fast Expand and then head across to the third base there. Once you've got the third base, then obviously you can evaluate from that point if you sort of want to continue to just slowly creep around and grab maps, or if you want to start putting pressure on from that point. It's dependent on how you play, of course. One thing I will say is that a fellow Australian player in Fezza has shown me a replay. Do you remember we looked at the carrier game last week, where the player got a third base and built like 90 cannons at it, and then started making carriers? You can do that. You can of course do that extremely easy on this map, because the third is so impeccably easy to take. So that's just one thing to shout out for the other Protoss players if you want to do some carrier shenanigans. But Omerta, for a Zerg player, what do you? Obviously, it's not the greatest map for Zergs, especially against the Protoss here, and in these positions, it might make it a little bit easier because it's cross spawns, but in general, what do you think about it?
I actually kind of like it. You just have to make sure you knock down to the rocks to your third, and hope you're not playing on the ladder version where you can get the close third base spawns, because frankly, those spawns are just bullshit in this matchup. But yeah, I mean, I like it. I was listening to GSL the other night, and Wolf was talking about how late game PvZ on this map basically always boils down to kind of the same fight most of the time, and it's where you have Broodlords positioned over that like sort of crater area by the 4th base,
Yep.
and it's, you know, can the Protoss position his army well enough and get a good enough vortex to try and win the game. And this game always the game always goes late. As long as you scout well enough as Zerg, you can take your 4th base quickly enough, get your hive tech quickly enough to deal with any sort of Colossus-based pushes without a mothership. So I like it. It's just a good map, or a good macro map in general.
Yeah.
Also, the center of the map is so wide open. Like, if a Protoss makes a really foolish attack, like, sometimes you'll see these weird, like, 160-ish supply attacks if you're going for a fast hive to try and punish you for that. And if they do that, you've got so much space in the middle of the map that you can just completely surround them and try to kill them.
Yep. What do you think about like a Demaga style Ling Baneling with drops on this map for the mid game? Because I think no matter what, you're gonna get a hive, you're gonna get late. But it seems like this would be like an ideal map for it, right? Because you can get the surrounds in the middle of the map, and you can actually just harass with the drops.
Yeah, and
like
I actually think drop play. Yeah, I've played a lot of practice games on this map, PvZ, when I was first working on my fast 3rd base builds, and basically if you do like a Stefano style Roach Max, except with drops, it hits a little bit later, and if you just drop your entire Roach Max on top of a Protoss army that goes for a fast 3rd, you basically just win the game. Because if you go for a fast 3rd like this, you're completely relying on ramps and force fields to keep that many roaches out. And they can even lose, you know, a couple of overlords worth of roaches dropping it, and it's just really, really hard to stop. So I'm actually really liking Puzzle's build here. I do something really similar, except with a Robo, and he got a really fast 3rd Nexus. He's going to be on like 70 probes by like the 10-minute mark, or excuse me, like the 11-minute mark, which is so good in this matchup because of the way that Zergs power up drones. And
yeah, I mean, he's not actually
so
too
good.
far behind where Whale is. I mean, Whale's on 75 at the moment. He's only 13 behind him, so that's pretty good. And I mean, Whale's decided some of his particular tech here. We got the Spire going up. What do you think of? I suppose this map is a little tiny bit like Cloud Kingdom in the fact that this 3rd base has a relative close proximity to the main base mineral line as well. Do you think that's a possible reason for using some mutas on this map, or is he just going to get the Spire up and just go straight to Broodlords?
Well, basically as Zerg, there are 2 responses. There are 2 responses to a really fast 3rd from Protoss. Well, I guess there are 3. You can try and Roach Max it, but most Protosses are going to blind prepare for that. I think you basically have to,
yep.
Which is, you know, making a lot of sentries, getting blink. So the 2 other responses are to go Muta to try and pick them apart, or to go for a really fast hive. And I think both are good options because, like, as a Protoss, you absolutely just have to spam out a bunch of sentries at this point in the game. Actually, Puzzle doesn't really have as many. Like, I'm not comfortable with how many sentries he has. Yeah, I really think he should have more. Like, he could get just completely crushed by a Roach Max, I feel like. But anyways, yeah, so they're going to have a lot of sentries, and their blink tech will be a little late, so you can get like a big mute account pretty quick and abuse the fact that they don't have a lot of stalkers and their army is very immobile, and get your hive behind that. Or rushing hive is very good too, because Protoss really can't attack you. I mean, like, look at his army right now. There's no way in hell that a Protoss is going to move out across Entombed with the army he has right now, so you can just, like, yeah, you can completely rush your hive. So both are good responses. I tend to favor the fast hive, but Mutas is nice. I'd like to see Whale not get very many Mutas, though. Get, like, kind of stop here at around 15 or 16, and then go for his Infestation Pit, but we'll have to see what he decides.
Yeah.
I really do like mutas on this map too, for the same reason that I like the idea of the Ling Baneling or the drop play kind of thing, because you do, like, the mineral lines on this map. There's enough space behind these bases, airspace-wise, that you can have effective harass, and it's big enough that you're going to be able to keep tabs on his army completely, and you can set up to win a fight with Muta in your army, so you'll have that that slightly weaker army because you have so many opportunities to flank. You can do a Ling Baneling Muta on this as if it was like an old TVZ if you really want to, and because it helps so much against that fast third style that like there's almost no reason you wouldn't see a fast third on this map from a Protoss player because it's just the train's just begging for you to get it. So I really do like the idea behind it. I wish he was able to be a little bit more aggressive with these mutas, but losing them would be much worse.
Well, I think part of the reason that he hasn't really been able to be... Oh, crap, we lost... I must have dropped down the bottom, my bad, but he did take out the attempted 5th base from Whale. But I think part of the reason, really interestingly, because Puzzle didn't scout at all, so whether he's used to how Whale plays or not, he actually just went straight for that really high Stalker count. I don't know if you guys saw that, but he actually didn't get any sort of robo-based tech at all. He didn't get any Immortals, which was really weird. Like, I know you were sort of alluding to that, Omerta, regarding the Roach Max, but he didn't get any of those sort of powerful units at all until this stage right now where he's got the Templar, and as we can see, the Stalker's a bit busy off to the side at the 4th base, but the Muta's not getting too far because there are cannons. There's also a couple of Templar in middle line as well, so he weirdly blind countered it, and you don't often see that.
He did. I think he had an obs, but like
no, he didn't actually get that in there until like that only just got in there a couple of minutes ago. That was way late to scout.
Well, I mean, but so was Whale's lair tech. It was pretty late in this game, so I think he was kind of prepared. And honestly, a Roach Max on this map is less dangerous in my opinion than it would be on other maps. Like I don't think you need to quite so blindly counter it. And
I mean, it's less dangerous, but only 4 sentries. That's what 4 force fields each. So that's like 16 force fields. I mean, that's only gonna buy you like 45 seconds to a minute of time on these big ramps. And if he's attacking both at the same time, it would have been really difficult for him to just stop a bunch of roaches from charging up with only 4 sentries, I feel.
I suppose I'd have to look at when he had some idea of what Whale's tech was.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, he should have known relatively early that he wasn't going to get Roach maxed on, especially since he had obs on the map.
Just FYI, Whale at 107 drones.
Yep. And I actually think that's a few too many.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's a few too many. Like, the nice thing is he'll be able to just start making a bunch of spines now, which is fine, but you really don't need that many. You can stop at like 90 and still... Because really all you need is the extra assimilators. I mean, once you've got mineral saturation at 3 base, really all you need the extra bases for is for the gas. Yeah. So.
But it looks like Whale just cruising around trying to find some random units out on the map. Does find a group of Stalkers that were out of place, but their buddies have come to help out. Don't know where he's going with those mutas, just flying right over the top of everything. A little bit of miscontrol from Whale. Loses all of that. Was that... I don't know, he's got a bank of 7k. Do you think that was on purpose? I mean, he's got...
No, there's no way that's on purpose.
He's just...
You're gonna do that losing clicking a Nexus down or something.
Yeah, I mean...
Yeah.
That was just a bad miscontrol.
He's just restarted, he's restarted the Infestors, so he's now going to have, he's currently got 5 out on the map. We're going to get another 5 in a minute. We've also got Broodlords on the way. Weirdly, there are 12 Banelings on the map. Where are they? Okay, they're up the top. But yeah, as we pointed out, with all of those drones, you can make quite a wall of spine crawlers here. But there are so many Stalkers now pushing in. I think Whale is going to lose this base here at a minimum, possibly. Oh no, with the Broodlords coming along, he should be okay to hold off on that 4th. But Baneling's now rolling in through the top. He's going to try and look to bust through the wall here. He may be able to get inside, but there is a mothership actually cloaking everything here. Is she going to be able to save? No. Oh dears, that's quite a lot of probes going down. And behind all of that, the attack down at the bottom side has ceased for the moment for Puzzles. So Quite a lot of kills there. He actually took down almost 27 probes up at the top, I think that was. So, pretty good attack there from Whale while defending his own bases.
Yeah, that's nice. But and I guess that's what you have to do if you've made a bit of a blunder and basically lost your mutas, which caused you to start losing some of your bases.
Yep.
But honestly, like, that kind of economic damage at this point in the game isn't really a big deal. Like, by the time he would need money, he's going to have enough probes again. Like, he basically already has enough probes.
Yeah, he's back up to 75 now, so...
I guess he must have been very surprised to see that mothership, because if you're going to do an attack like that, if he kills that Nexus, then it's worth it. Then it's damaging, and you put the Protoss player in a bit of a bind where if he isn't able to stabilize quickly, then he'll start really feeling the heat. But like, he already has a mineral bank. He's maxed. He already has probes again. It's really not a big deal.
Yeah. So, waiting to see some more drops from Puzzle. I'm a little bit surprised he hasn't sort of gotten out. The DT tech is only just on the way now. Of course, DT is really nice at this late game stage when you're trying to force a Zerg to be a little bit... they have to try and make themselves a little bit more mobile to protect various places on the map. But instead of doing those drops, I do like what he's doing with these Stalkers and the Observer, just poking around, clearing out the creep. Doesn't want it spread too far, like it was in the middle for a moment there, but now he's pushed it right back, and he'll have to get the Queens back on that job. But the Banelings rolling up inside that base yet again. Ooh, and takes another hit on the workers, down to 61 at the moment. So things sort of just slowly progressing at the moment. What do you, Omerta, at this point as a Zerg player, what are you sort of looking for? Are you gonna, like, I mean, one big thing I would really like to see is the creep. If you can start the creep spread again and slowly start pushing the spine crawlers out, that'll help. But you're just gonna look for that big group of infestors and broodlords.
Yeah, definitely. And he really needs Neural here too, because while it's very difficult to get off, if you can Neural a mothership and waste its vortex energy, then your army can win this fight 100%. So I'm kind of disappointed that he hasn't started that. His air upgrades are pretty good though, I think. Yeah, he's got 3 attack and 1 armor. Should be starting 2 armor pretty soon, and he's got +3 melee and +3 carapace about to finish, so his upgrades are very, very good. I think puzzles are right up there too though. So yeah, you just need to be super careful at this point in the game. Your army, like, the way his broodlords are clumped right now, like, that you really can't ever have them like that, because if they all get vortex, you just automatically lose the game. So you just kind of need to position very well, use like Overseers or a Stray Corruptor to kind of keep an eye out on his army and where it's at, and get your broodlords in as big of an arc as possible and get a good engage.
Can we just take some time to look at what's building on the Protoss production tab?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and this is the point in time.
Catapult, and now he's got +2 to air armor, +2 to air weapons, +3 to shields. He's getting the carrier production started. We've got, oh, there's actually a random Stargate that's not building. In fact, he does have 5 Stargates in total, so he's really preparing for doing that big switch here.
Fungal.
Yeah, really nice work there, but really preparing for that switch. And I mean, he can, you know, if you get those carriers out, the goodbye broodlords. But of course, you do have to watch out for the fungal. A lot of people don't realize, I don't know why, but fungal hits interceptors, and it's really weird. Graviton Catapult helps the Protoss because you can micro the carriers a little bit better by shooting out the interceptors at a particular target and just like killing it straight away. And whoa, nice recall.
Whale's just
from Puzzle. But you
I don't think Whale really knows what he wants to do here, because he's just like, his army is just completely out of position.
Yep.
What he really needs to do in this situation is he needs to make sure he can defend these expansions he's getting up, and he needs to push creep and push his spine crawlers out to fight with his army. Like, he does not want to fight at all without spine crawlers, because, like, to be honest, like, it's very, very difficult to beat a Protoss army this late in a game, and he's just kind of just very sadly throwing the stuff away. He really needs to fight with spine crawlers underneath his broodlords. Like he absolutely has to, and he has to trade efficiently enough that he can remax, which he needs gas for, which he doesn't get because he's losing these expansions by being out of position.
Yeah.
So that was a lot of build up for kind of a sad decision to just like walk over there and lose all your shit.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he basically just walked over and he was like, I don't know what I'm doing.
Like in this situation, honestly, like if he pushes creep out, takes the center of the map, and slowly pushes up with the spine crawlers, he can do well in a fight against that kind of Protoss army. He really can, because the stalkers can't really afford to blink on there. The broodling AI on top of the spine crawlers is gonna just muck everything up. The infestors are safe with next to the spine crawlers, and he can really like lay siege to that left side of the map where that 4th and that 5th are, because if you can trade and put pressure on that 4th and that 5th and make it so the Protoss player can't expand again, you can win that war of attrition late game as a Zerg, as long as you're also taking the bottom right half of the map and not just like losing it to blink stalkers.
Yeah,
and that's really what you need to do in this situation, because you are, when you're going for broodlords, you are in a bit of a rough situation on this map because it's so open that switches it around on you very late because the Protoss army can get under your broodlords, and I don't know, man. Whale just like attacked for no reason.
One big thing which you notice as well when you look at
look at all
the spine crawlers is that they don't get vortexed. I mean, it's a very simple fact, I know, but it's also a big thing. So I think, as we mentioned like a few times, if you can get the creep spread restarted, at least push the spine crawlers into the middle section here, where you have a little bit of control over the watchtower, get some good vision, you can utilize them. And then if a vortex goes down, you lose some of your broodlords to the vortex, the fight still goes on, because if he tries to push Archons into the vortex, they'll take a few shots from the spine crawlers because they'll still be poking away. And you know, as we said, it's good ground cover as well. So
yeah, and there's really no reason you can't do that either at this point. Like you have 4,200 minerals. You can take bases, secure them with spine crawlers and spores, and be able to slowly push those spine crawlers out.
yeah,
Like a Protoss player doesn't want to attack into broodlords and infestors that are in a defensive posture. He really doesn't. Like 90% of the time.
No.
So if you move, if
Unless
you very
you're
slowly
carriers.
push,
yeah.
if you very slowly push those up, like as if they were siege tanks, he's not going to be able to do anything. That's how you want to play this situation, not walking my slow units off creep across the map and then getting blunked on.
Yep. Omerta, any particular other thoughts about that game for?
Yeah. I definitely want to comment on Puzzle's just decision making and kind of like his general tactics that game, which are so good, man. Like he just played so smart. He never once even attempted to attack into any of these spine crawler walls, which you will see a lot of Protosses just do. They'll just kind of go and try and kill the Zerg. Instead, he just 100% of the time had his army positioned over by the 5th, 6th, and 7th base, and just kept picking those off. Never used his mothership offensively, only used his mothership for recall, which is another thing you like never really see, but in this situation, it's so good. I mean, his game plan was just to starve Whale completely out of resources, and then force him to fight in a bad position, which he did, and just a very solid game plan and very well executed. Like, just really good play from Puzzle.
Yeah, if there was one criticism I would have had of Puzzle, it's that if he loses his army, he loses this game because he hasn't been able to secure too many more additional expansions. So he would have been in quite a rough spot if Whale had been able to push those spines up and sort of shut down the activity around that 1, 2, 3, 4th and 5th base. But that's kind of just a problem with Protoss, with this matchup in general, that the Protoss death ball is just like so ridiculously difficult to kill. But if it does die, then the Zerg Remax is just going to be like
it's
really
a huge
ridiculous.
glass cannon in that respect. So it is important.
Well, I wouldn't call it that.
I
It's
would.
not Marine dying to 2 fungals or anything, but
Oh, no, I don't mean in that regard. I mean that it'll, once it dies, then, you know, it packs a punch, but then if you can smash through it, then it's dead and it's not coming back. I don't know. Maybe wrong metaphor,
But
whatever.
this was exactly what I wanted to see puzzle, like, wanted to see from a Protoss in this map. Like I said at the beginning, just a very passive style. Like, he's kind of proving you don't have, like, even if you're not going for some kind of weird, like, carrier build, you don't have to attack a Zerg if you have strong decision making and play the game right. This is like what if Thorzane would do if you played Protoss.
This is actually, like, obviously way better, but this is the same style that I have in Protoss versus Zerg. I like barely attack unless it's with that initial thing at the start, and I just sit back. I actually had a game, there was a game a little while ago on the same map, almost same positions, where I did the same thing. I just sort of sat back, is like, you know, letting me take the fourth base, and it's kind of like, alright, it's carrier time, baby, and yeah, you just go from there, so.
No, I hear you, Duck. I seriously never attack a Zerg until I have a mothership, ever.
Must be nice, guys. Must be nice.
Yeah.
Look, nice to be able to not attack things and win games.
I built carriers against a Terran the other day, and it actually worked. That's like the first time.
Of course it worked. Fucking Terran sucks. Dickly.
Well, not actually. I wouldn't say I never attack, because I do make war prisms. Like usually, like definitely one, sometimes two or three.
Well,
in
StarCraft 2, when we say attack, we mean I take my giant army and try to smash it into your giant army and win the game that way.
Nah, I don't do that. No, do not do that.
That's what I feel like. That's what attacking in StarCraft 2 means.
Yeah, pretty much.
You say attacking in Brood War, that means that's that thing you're doing for the entire game with like small groups of units.
Yeah.
In StarCraft 2, that means I'm maxing and I'm gonna move it to your base.
Well, hopefully we'll see some more of that with Heart of the Swarm. Obviously, some of the units are geared towards that. Of course, the Oracle comes to mind. The
Tempest.
I was about to make a joke about the Terran mech, except lol. It's just fucking. Now you have battalions and 4 pounds that can just attack in a big group.
Yeah.
And you can do it from the factory instead of.
Alright, well, on that note, we'll finish up. Of course, we've gone a little bit longer than normal, but that's all cool. I'm going to be doing, well, you guys go first. Wiggn, shoutouts and goodbyes and whatever.
Follow me on Twitter at dbwiggin. Sponsor me. Well, no. And that's it, man. I got nothing. Thanks for having me.
No worries. Omerta?
Yep. Twitter's on the, I think, left side of the stream.
It was.
Or is it not anymore? Oh, it's not.
Moved the scene over to a different scene.
Yeah. So yeah, at MLG_Omerta. Just a piece of advice to all you people watching: don't ever play League of Legends. It's terrible. You will just get angry the entire time you play it.
Never play solo.
Yeah.
Never.
And if you want to learn how to play PvZ, watch Puzzle. He's actually like him and Hero. Well, Hero not as much anymore. Puzzle is like my role model for PvZ, and I actually think his PvZ is the best in the world right now. So if you want to learn how to do that, watch him play. He's very good. Plays a very macro-oriented style.
Indeed. Alright. I recently, thanks to shootmaniaesports.com, a shout out, got an alpha key for Shootmania. So tonight, it is Friday, so I'll be staying up late. That means past 7 o'clock for me. I'll be playing and streaming some Shootmania. If you're from the other side of the planet, I'm sorry. If you're in bed, too bad. But I will be playing a little bit more this weekend. I'll also be doing some casts of the tournament that I went to last weekend, which was really cool. And I'll be getting those up as soon as I can. If you have your own replays you want to see casted, please feel free to send them through to DUCKVILLE@gmail.com. Yeah, and we'll be back next week. If you have a particular topic you want to talk about on the show, like if you're having trouble in your TVZ and you want to talk about, stopping bunkers and that sort of thing, either send us some replays or just let me know what the topic is on Twitter or on in the chat or whatever. And yeah, we'll have a look at it. I don't have a topic for next week just yet, so we'll see how we go. Otherwise, we'll just see what the latest replays that are out. Of course, this is a strategy based talk show, so we're not going to sit here and talk about random crap too much. Thank you all for watching, and yeah, we'll catch you all next time. Laters.